Stream started.
Oh, you're good. "27th is when this one comes out." All right. Hey, campers. My name is Kimmy, and I'm here with the one, the only Ryan.
Hello, campus. Welcome back to Aloreing. This episode, Kimmy said, Ryan, don't be Agatha Christie once again, but I decided I'm going to. And welcome back to Aloreing, our folklore podcast, where our dear friends, Kimmy and Ryan, are going to just tell you some stories of different legends and lore from all around the world. Oh, looks like Ryan's coming in now. Right. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to go back to waiting for my man. Oh, hey guys. Hey, welcome to Aloreing, our folklore podcast, where we tell you the history stories of different legends and lore from around the world, just like Agatha said. Thank you so much. And you are definitely not a cringy character that I'm going to make reoccur every once in a while, but you have a great day, Agatha.
Agatha is just the spirit that occasionally possesses Ryan's body, and we're just going to kind of go with it at this point.
What? Yeah, maybe.
He touched a Ouija board once, and this is the result.
Not even once, kids. Don't do it.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of Ouija boards and spirits, for your Aloreing this week, do you want to talk about any spooky Halloween plans you may have coming up?
Instead of doing a traditional Halloween of going trick-or-treating, I am instead going to be on a boat in the middle of nowhere, and it's going to be just so great, and I can't wait. Not a thought in the world, just ocean and unlimited buffet.
Wow.
I don't know if there's
Sound-
trick-or-treating on boats, but if there is, I will be participating strongly.
Wow, sounds like you're really committing to this Agatha bit.
Yeah. She's gonna be like another lover lost to sea as he takes off on his cruise line.
Are you going with a few people you know?
Yeah, we're just going with some friends and family. It should be a good time. I'm very excited.
So at one point, I need whoever you're with,
Okay.
when Agatha takes over your soul and you look longingly over the boat, I would like a photo of you with your hands behind your back and the shawl over your head, like a babushka, beckoning to your past lover.
This glacier, I think maybe this is what sunk Jeremiah's ship.
If you're wondering why Agatha always has different lover names, it's because she's had quite a few lovers lost to sea.
It's because I can't forget exactly the name. I think it was Jimothy or Timothy or Jimmy.
You changed it like 3 times on last episode.
I don't know. I hope everybody loves it because I will be doing it for the foreseeable future. Much like my wolf howl, once I decide something's funny, it is what it is. But what are your Halloween plans? You got anything exciting? I see you're dressed up.
Oh yeah, I'm dressed up for a Halloween episode. I'm a true blue Hufflepuff.
Oh,
or yellow mellow Hufflepuff. There's no good Hufflepuff cheers. Like, we're really trying.
Let's go Hufflepuff.
There was I had to make banners for my party.
Boy. That's a good. That's a good Hufflepuff chant.
It's my boy. That's the cheer.
Why is the band still playing?
No, I think Edgar and I. It's nice because we have friends that like to throw parties. That's why we do ours in the month before, so we don't have to worry about any Halloween stuff.
I feel that.
I don't know what we're going to dress as. I wanted to do Kylo Ren and Rey, but, it's too crazy this year, so we may be Hogwarts students. We have, an Ash and Misty costume we like to do. We always win with that one.
Stuff you already got,
Yeah, so I always got that. I always have Poison Ivy, but he's not super into DC, so it's I would like to do, unless he wants to do something by himself, then I'll be Poison Ivy.
He could be who is the new Batman that's just a goth kid and not even a superhero? Shit, what's his name? Guy from Twilight. Robert Pattinson, the Robert Pattinson Batman, but not dressed as Batman, just goth Robert Pattinson.
There's not a lot of Latins in DC as main characters. I don't know. I think it's just I don't feel like he fits the person. He is very Ren. No, what's his name from Star Wars? Wow. Yeah, I just said it. Kylo. He's very Kylo Ren personality. That's it. And I don't feel there's that in DC because Nightwing's kind of a man horse and Edgar's just a sweet boy, so it doesn't work. But anyway, I will be having lots of fun at house parties dressed as some classic cartoon character, and that is my plans at the moment. And I'm okay with that. So
I love it.
I don't know. We're going to take Candy to some parties. There's your transition.
I was going to say, who else likes to show up to people's houses?
This week's even
episode,
better.
Let's cue those campfire sounds and change the slide. Crazy transition. In the mirror's dark, he'll appear. The Candyman, a figure to fear. With hook for hand, a tale to dread. He haunts your dreams, fills you with dread. Say his name 5 times, he'll emerge. A specter of vengeance, a chilling surge. His sweet whisper, his honeyed grace, lead you to the most gruesome embrace. The Candyman, his legend unfolds. A spectral terror, a story retold. In the world of mirrors where shadows play, he lurks and waits. to steal your day. I said it about 12 times, but who are we talking about?
Oh, well, campers, if you're summoning spirits at sleepovers, and you know it's a rite of passage to summon a spirit at a sleepover.
Everyone who's summoned the Candyman or attempted to, please raise your hand.
Ryan is raising his hand.
Hello, all my fellow cool kids.
Well, Ryan did all the summoning rituals, and he's here with me who didn't, so I guess he really lived at the end of the day. But this week, we aren't going to be talking about Bloody Mary. No. We are going to be talking about summoning a deceivingly sweet spirit that can only come when you call his name 5 times. So, this week, we will be discussing the ominous Candyman. And for all our lovely audio listeners, if you'd like to see this week's illustration, you can head over to our blog at aloreing.com. You can go to our Instagram, or you can come join us on YouTube for what is normally a shit show.
It's great. And we definitely never cut and restart.
3 times in a row in the last 24 hours.
Ooh, not us.
Never. We're professionals.
Heck yeah.
So, anyway, this was a fun one. I try to not make it too intense because your girl likes spooky, but it doesn't like getting too into the spookiness. So, check it out. But for everyone that's just listening, we will be talking about the Candyman, like I just said, and is a creature inspired from a classic horror short story from 1985. As time went on, this creepy entity evolved into something more unsettling, and it's an urban legend that holds many similarities to the famous Bloody Mary. But do not be deceived, because he is definitely his own summoning spirit. And boy is vengeful. Now, precursor, these show notes may be rough because it was one where I was like, oh, I don't think there's a lot to it. And then I went through a spiral rabbit hole like 3 hours before.
I think spiral might also be an accurate statement.
Your girl had a full-on panic attack. And was like, this is the only time we have to do this episode before it goes out. So bear with me. And no, we're not professionals like we say at the beginning. So you're here for a good time, not a super accurate time. All right, so where do the origins of the Candyman come from? So the OG Candyman can be traced back to Clive Barker's horror series Books of Blood, Volume 5, published in 1985. This book contains a collection of eerie short stories, one of them being titled The Forbidden, and it is responsible for the origins of the Candyman. So this story tells of a young, pretentious college student named Helen who investigates reoccurring graffiti in the shady parts of town, eventually uncovering the sinister truth behind the legend she had previously dismissed as outdated folklore. So Ryan's going to tell us a little bit more about that later, but for now, this horrific Candyman in the short story, Clive, how do I say that? Clive? It's Clive, right? Clive. I keep wanting to say Olive because it looks like an O to me, but it's a C. Yeah. So Clive got inspired for the Candyman based off cautionary tales his grandmother would tell him as a child. He also wrote the character in a way that would encourage readers to fill in details about what he was, making it one of the more memorable entries in his Books of Blood series. Plus, with the Candyman being able to be built upon, it wasn't long until Hollywood would take this eerie figure and make it more spooky. So, typically, the movie retelling of the books, there is always the concern that characters become diluted. But thanks to how Clive set up the Candyman in short story, filmmakers and screenwriter Bernard Ross was able to take the eerie Candyman entry to the next level. So, precursor, Ryan and I haven't seen either of these movies. We've seen trailers, but we haven't seen these movies yet. So a lot of it is summaries about what a lot of people are saying collectively about it. So I don't have a strong opinion about the film either way at the moment. And we may on Ryan's pod, but we will see. So another precursor. Again, I found out a lot of information a little too late. So, uh, where was I? Okay, so in the 1992 horror film, Bernard created a different type of Candyman. This version tells of Helen moving to the outskirts of Chicago to study urban legends of the city, leading to her to the real carbonated green housing projects. While she's still obsessing over the Candyman myths, the film is much more sympathetic and tragic depictions of the well-intentioned woman that falls victim to ancient narratives, losing herself in a place long and abandoned by society. So, in this film, more is added to the Candyman's origins. So, before, we don't know where he came from. He just kind of appeared, does his thing, and he heads out. But in this one, it tells how he was once the free son of an enslaved black man who was horribly maimed and murdered by a white mob in the late 19th century for his relationship with the daughter of a wealthy white man. And a backstory was created by the Candyman actor Tawny Todd. So we also get the addition of how people summon him, and the focus of the film being the truth of his tragic legend and that started because of racially motivated crimes. So now the movie introduced a new hooked horror to the media, and it ended up leading to a series of sequels and the 2021 reboot of the original that was co-written by Jordan Peele. Again, I didn't watch this and Ryan hasn't. I saw some like kind of bummer reviews,
Yeah.
which
That's why I skipped it.
Yeah. So, but it may be good. I feel like sometimes with horror movies, people will give a bad review because the ending's not what they wanted.
Yeah.
So it may be one we just have to check out because it looked so promising.
Yeah, and we are going to.
So again, we haven't seen it. So this is me just speaking from what I could find from reviews online. So in the latest version of The Candyman, a man is targeted and murdered by the police after being falsely suspected of putting a razor blade in the candy given to a child.
Right.
The events of the first film are inaccurately retold by one character as another version of the legend, while depicted on screen with striking shadow puppetry by manual cinema. This version of the film even takes the legend a step further and goes into details about how the urban legend grows from one person to another person talking about it and how one can summon the deadly Candyman. So all of these retellings have just added to Clive's OG Candyman, and I believe they all hold some responsibility for the urban legend's origins that we know today. He was an eerie character, developed more depth with each retelling, and this allows the Candyman to still be popular and told amongst kids constantly. So it's really cool because a lot of times I feel we'll hear all of the origins and everything about an urban legend and it dilutes over time. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the rare cases where it continues to grow with each retelling. And I absolutely love that. And then moving on to word meaning, very straightforward for y'all this week. Candyman, it's because he is associated with candy and the sweet, sweet smell of honey. And that's it. That's all I got for origins. It's really interesting because this is one rare case where the creature was just so engrossed in cinema. Yeah. Like, that's what we have for him, is the movies. Like, we have that short story that we'll talk about, but it's not like a bunch of like legends from one person to another. Like, sure, there's like sleepover stories that are told, but it's definitely its own thing. And it was very hard for me to navigate this because I feel like it's not what we normally talk about with creatures.
Usually we have like 500 books that we could go off of that were written like 40 years ago or 400 years ago.
Yeah, or like there's 8 different versions of what this story could be
Yeah.
too. And this is very like here's the bones, and then here's the next story that adds a little bit of muscle, and then here's the next story which is adding like the skin to the skeleton. So it's like it just builds off of it, which is really fascinating. But I think it's cool cuz it keeps the legend going. So each generation kind of gets a say in the next part of what will keep the story moving along, which is very cool.
For me, nothing happened, so like, I don't got anything to add. Because
the Candyman, you didn't smell the smell of sweet honey.
Well, I did, but that's because I was eating my 400th bit of honey that day, because that was my favorite candy.
Do your parents know you used to summon spirits like all the time when you were?
They might. I don't really know. Probably. I feel like my mom knows everything, whether I told her or not. But I mean, that's just how that is.
They just look into your soul, and you're like, "Oh, don't look there."
There goes Ryan once again, trying to summon a demon.
I like to imagine if she has like a mirror in her bedroom, like she'll lay in bed, and then the mirror, she'll hear like a tap.
Yeah.
And the Candyman's like, "Psst, by the way, just so you know, because I don't want to mess with you.
Yeah.
Your son is like summoning me right now, and I don't want to deal with that."
Well, we'd always do it at my friend's house because it was the same house that we did Bloody Mary at. Probably around the same time too, because we just went on a kick for a while. But unfortunately, no earthquakes were caused by the Candyman, so clearly he's not quite as powerful as Bloody Mary. But you know,
better watch yourself. Better.
And that's why I don't have mirrors in my bedroom. Leave that shit.
I have a mirror in the office directly behind me, so my anxiety is quite high.
Are webcams mirrors?
I guess. I don't know.
Try it out. Say it 5 times, Kimmy.
Oh, no. I'm not going to.
Everybody, peer pressure. Kimmy.
No.
Kimmy.
No. I'm so scared.
Come on.
Ryan,
do it 4 times. See what happens.
I'm a coward. I'll do it 4. I don't want to even do it 4 times.
4 times, just in case.
Candyman? Candyman. Candyman. Candyman.
That was only 3.
That was 4.
No, that was 3. Yeah, I almost got her. Anyway, let me tell you guys the story. So Kimmy did such an amazing job taking what was a very long story and summarizing it down. So let's just take a minute to appreciate Kimmy's hard work on this show, because we would not have a story or a podcast without her. So
can we tell what your solution was right before the episode? That would have saved me hours.
I believe in the future, and ChatGPT did it pretty quick. Not as good, though. I will say ChatGPT summarized it like, here's the facts. You summarized it as a story, so that's the difference.
Well, that makes me feel better.
But if we ever needed to like quickly explain a story, I could save you 6 hours.
Yeah, no, it was out of those 6 hours, like I listened to the story twice and spent an hour writing the notes, and all the rest of the time was me panicking that I would miss something important. Yeah, that was a very great representation. It was Edgar asleep, me on my laptop screaming to the void, and my rabbit looking at me like I'm a crazy woman as she tries to rest. So
Fantastic. Anyway. Well, so our story begins with Helen Buchana, a young woman starting on her thesis on graffiti in a rundown set of council estates. While taking time to research this graffiti, she slowly starts to learn of the real horrors of local lore the residents live with. Helen is taking photos of some graffiti in the rundown part of town when a woman by the name of Amory and her 8-year-old son stop to ask, "What the heck are you doing?" At first, Helen simply says she's just taking pictures of graffiti to gather some information for her thesis, and that's when Amory starts to go off about how distasteful it is and how it even found its way into the inside of some abandoned flats near her home. This piqued Helen's interest, knowing that the indoor graffiti may have something more to it, and after asking Amory if she could show her where she leads her to one of the abandoned flats near her home so she can explore it. The flat gives off an eerie presence, and unsure why, she decides she will come back tomorrow with better film equipment to get photos of graffiti in the dark. Shout out for getting better film equipment instead of continuing on her journey. So,
You know, I saw that and I was like, if Ryan takes anything away from the story, I know it's going to be, he's going to comment the moment she says, I need better film equipment.
better equipment before I go on this monster hunt. So upon leaving, she runs into the little boy again, and he says how his mother Amory has invited Helen over for tea. While having tea, Amory mentions how dangerous this area is and talks about the recent murder that took place in the man in the flat, and how she found sliced, and how he was found sliced to ribbons. Upon hearing this, Helen is in disbelief of the legend and ends up heading home. They never listened.
She was like, "Oh, there was a murder."
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, he was just sliced to pieces. Well, couldn't happen twice.
Just a ribbon man, no big deal.
So the next day, Helen's still wondering about the murders and thought it strange how she wasn't able to find any information about the story through the news reports online. She tried to push that to the back of her mind, and she revisited the flat the next day with better equipment to get more photos. Once she got her photos, she proceeded to leave, and that's when she ran into the sun yet again. Then, still curious from yesterday's story, she asked him if he knew anything about the old man murdered in the flat. The boy said he knew nothing, but told her everyone was getting ready for the bonfire later in the week, and she should come again. She said she'd think about it and went home for the evening, but she couldn't help shake the thought that there was more to the murder than she was told.
Ooh.
Like a fly to the light, Helen came back the next day to see if she could ask others for more information about the possible murder before the storm rolled in. And that's when she ran into two older women at the end of the court near Amory's home. While talking to the women, they seemed hesitant to tell her about the lore surrounding the area, but after a few minutes, the women came forward with all they knew. They told Helen the story of the grown man who was cut to pieces by razor blades in the public bathroom, and how police and his mother found him in a pool of his own blood, and that the killer was never found. They then continued talking about how no one cared about those murders in this area, and how everyone constantly lives in fear of being murdered in such gruesome ways. The conversation then added as it started to rain, and Helen decided to make her way back home. Once home, she couldn't stop thinking about the legend, and when she asked her colleagues their opinion, it was clear everyone thought it was nothing more than some local lore to keep people entertained. What a weird way to keep people entertained.
Well, you know, you say that, but the amount of true crime junkies I meet in the wild,
that's true.
It's like I was talking to one of my really good friends about it, how people will like warn people of other people not to be like, oh, this person is like meh, 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 meh. But it's like, oh, hey, you should be cautious of it, or you should be cautious of this thing happening, just so people know what's going on, you know. Fair. So like that's why we like to like talk about this stuff, because we want like everyone in our community to be like, oh, be careful of that house because it has this legend, you know, because we don't want more people croaking up in that spot.
All right.
So
well, let us know, true crime girlies, what you think. So regardless of what her colleagues said, she just knew there was something more to these murders, and she started to forget about her original thesis. A few days later, Helen went back to see Amory and asked her more questions. But Amory's friendly personality was way more distant, as she refused to let Helen into her home and completely denied telling her anything about the murders when Helen asked for clarification. Awfully suspicious. Helen was shocked and asked why she was pretending she didn't know anything, and that's when Amory whispers, "It's dangerous here. Someone's always watching. You need to leave." She then pushed Helen outside and locked the door, ending the conversation short. Helen was shook, and it seemed that everyone in the area was avoiding her. It was strange and made her feel as if the locals were just messing with her to scare her out of the area.
Just leave. I would have been curious about everything until this point.
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, I'm out. That was fun. That was great. I had a Scooby-Doo moment. Now I'm going to go back to my computer,
Yep.
you know?
So, trying to make sense of it all, she decided to see the flat one more time. And that's when she noticed it was all boarded up and that there appeared to be some type of dog that was trapped in there. Worried the dog may harm her, she ended up leaving, only to see police cars and ambulances show up as she started making her way back home. It wasn't long until everyone gathered and word got out that Amory's poor boy was discovered murdered by some razor blades. Helen was speechless and felt her world spinning. She couldn't make sense of it since she just saw Amory, and when she made it back home, she found herself listening intensely to the police reporting of the investigation. Upon listening to the police report, she realized that the murder took place sometime before she showed up. She decided she'd go to the police to explain what happened. She went through intense investigation and told them what she knew about the police, but the police said that's a lot. They said a lot of this was just urban legend.
They probably said, damn,
they
girl.
did say that was a lot as well.
She came in and they're like,
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Calm.
They're like, they pull out the report. They're like, okay, spell your name.
Yeah.
H E. Wait, please wait.
Slow down.
L E. Oh, please lower your voice, ma'am. I'm going as fast as I can.
This is a lot.
They're like,
yeah.
I'm not getting off at 6.
So they told her they'd look into it and just take things day at a time since she knew Amory and the boy. So Helen did that and attended the funeral service near the court the next day. After the service, she made her way back to the court where she thought of the boarded up dog and figured the least she could do was try and get the dog free. So Helen made her way back to the boarded off flat when she noticed how the boards were gone and it seemed like the dog was also long gone. But her curiosity got the best of her and she found her way into the flat. Upon closer inspection, she noticed a sweet honey scent filled the room, and now there was piles of candy razor blades and blood under the mattress in one of the rooms. While investigating, a sweet heavy scent filled the air and the sound of buzzing soon followed. Helen felt as if she was being watched, and that's when she turned and noticed a tall, hooked hand standing in the doorway. Helen tried to remain calm as she thought to herself that this was maybe the killer the community has been dealing with. She calmly said how she just came to look, but she was leaving, and that's when the strange man spoke up and said, "No need to leave yet." She kept trying to calmly explain how she needed to leave, but he refused to move out of the doorway. And then
gross.
Locked eyes with her and began feeling drowsy and heavy as he spoke and says how he came for her. He asked her if she wished to die, and if she did, she would become a legend that locals would talk about for centuries. He also told her that if she wished to live, he would let her, but he wouldn't leave until he got a kiss.
Now, for anyone that is pursuing relationships, this is not
this is really bad
get a lady.
Yeah.
Do not listen to this.
Yeah.
If you have to say you can die or kiss me, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to reevaluate your whole dating take, because that's not the move, Chief.
But unfortunately, the Candyman is supernatural, and Helen felt a seductive spell come over her and tried to fight it and told him how she wished to leave and wanted to escape. Then, with whatever strength she had, she grabbed the blanket from the bed to toss on him, but it ended up covering herself up as the boy's body rolled out from the blanket. The Candyman then stole a kiss and disappeared as quickly as he appeared. After escaping her encounter with the Candyman, she slowly came to her senses and realized that if she could grab the boy's body and take it to the police, then maybe, just maybe, she would be able to explain everything that happened and make sense of why the locals feed into this dark legend. However, before Helen was able to find the child's body, his mother, Emery, appears. Helen hides in the darkness as Emery grabs the son and leaves the house. Following him, she notices Emery takes the son into the bonfire as a means of disposing of his body. Full of rage, Helen decides she was going to try and get the body from the burning fire, and after the mother leaves, she sneaks into the bonfire and attempts to get the kid's body. As Helen tries to reach for the boy, the hooked man reappears and grabs her from the flames and pulls her back lovingly close. He whispers how this is the end for them as the flames slowly consume Helen and the Candy Man. Now, this was a summary, so we highly suggest you go and read the whole thing. Very spooky, some great twists along the way. We're only able to do a summary because, as you know, this podcast is only about an hour, and this would have been a couple episodes.
Yeah. It would take an hour and 30 minutes just to read the story with no interruptions and or commentary.
Yeah.
I also took out a lot of the Trevor stuff because I don't like Trevor, but you know what? You will read and you will see why I don't like Trevor. Well, Trevor was quite pretentious, and I was not here.
With a name like Trevor. Shout out to my Trevor. You're cool. Yes. All right. Well, speaking of Trevor, let's head to a commercial break, I guess.
Someone that sponsors us must be named Trevor.
Yeah, I'm sure Trevor works for one of these companies. And shout out to Trevor who works at the ad that's gonna come right after I say this. All right, where were we? All right, and if you're on YouTube, guess what? You don't need to listen to a dumb ad. You can just look at our cool stuff that Kimmy makes, because it's Halloween. And get yourself part of the the Hallows Eve collection? Is that what we called it?
Yep.
Boom,
Hallows
boom.
Eve collection.
We got Sleepy Hollow. We got Bloody Mary. The Bloody Mary one has Bloody Mary on the back 3 times. So if you're too afraid to say it, you can just wear it.
You just flip over to the mirror, and then you'll hear her voice go, Bloody Mary, like 3 times. And then she summons herself, but then she can't hurt you. So it's like a fun
reverse
loophole.
Uno card, and then you can hurt her. If you want to fight Bloody Mary, you just wear the shirt.
You pull out some holy water, like pocket sand style on her, and that's how you do it.
The last one, is that the doppelganger shirt?
That's the doppelganger shirt.
Doppelganger shirt. Also cool. Doppelganger's behind you, Kimmy, as you're aware. But don't turn around or else you won't see it. Yeah. So go check out aloringshop.com. I got cut off a little bit at the top there, but you know the drill. Aloringshop.com. Get your stuff today. It's the best way to support the podcast. It truly is, except for being a Patreon, I guess. There's 2 good ways to support the podcast. But all right, let's get back to the show, I guess.
Yeah. Let's get Ryan lost me with the first wolf sound, and then I was like, at least he snuck the radio in there. And then he started playing our liquor and lore sound effects, and I got really, really thrown through a loop.
Does it make you thirsty, people? Check out liquor and lore. That's just a little sneak preview of what you get if you become a Patreon.
$3 a month. You can watch, I think we have 5 episodes up right now.
Listen to us go.
All right, welcome back, campers. We hope you enjoyed that little break. We are now going to talk about the appearance and some facts surrounding the Candyman. So, the original appearance of the Candyman is a bit vague because he purposely did that because he kind of wanted us to fill in the blanks, So it appears as a tall, shadow-like figure with hooked hands and a patchwork cloak, thin blue lips, and a hollowed-out chest filled with a beehive. So as the legend has evolved over time, more has been added to the character's appearance. Described as a tall black man with patchwork or disheveled coat and a shaved head. At first glance, nothing seems off until one sees the hook hand and the bees swarming around him or escaping his mouth. He also has eyes filled with vengeance and pain, and that brings fear to anyone who sees him and makes some good old eye contact. He is also known to give off a sweet honey scent or candy-like scent before he appears, And normally when one smells this, it's already too late to run from him.
Here's the thing, I'm always eating honey, so I would just think it's me.
Ryan's poo bearing it over there.
I love honey. Honey slaps. Shout out to the bees.
Shout out. This episode's for the bees.
Yeah,
shout out to the bees. No, bees don't buzz. They dance when they talk. So you gotta go like there. All right. So now on to behavior and personality. So now listen. A hooked hand has never stopped me before, but I am here to warn you that he isn't going to be as sweet as he smells. So the Candyman is an enraged and tormented soul and will do everything he can to get you to the depths of hell. He will hook his claws into you and he will drag you down. But being a tormented soul, he is still what some may consider a gentleman. He is known to be quite charming. He has a power to be quite seductive due to his honey sweet words and his ability to have people feel as if they are melting in his arms. So
probably because you are melting in a fire that he dragged you into.
So Daddy Candyman is kind of his vibes.
Don't like that.
Ryan immediately disapproves of my Aloreing alignment placement.
Shut that one down. I swear to God, if you put him as lawful good, I'm gonna be so disappointed in you.
We'll find out, Ryan. We will find out. It has a pirate hook, Ryan. Come on.
It's not like a pirate hook. You can have a hook hand and not be a pirate. So many people have hook hands that aren't pirates.
Ryan, I'm just living my best life over here. Just let a girl dream. I've never seen Ryan so disappointed in the 60 episodes we have recorded.
Maybe, yeah, Yorona. Maybe.
Now, if La Llorona had a hook hand, let me tell you, folks.
Says, kidnaps and murders kids. Not that bad of a flag.
Yeah, see? Ryan gets it.
He's on hot?
He is pretty sweet, Ryan.
Yes,
speaking of sweet, what is the deal with candy and razor blades in the Candyman story? Well, this is an urban legend tale all of its own. So, we're going back for all the more millennials, kids that no longer trick-or-treat. Go back to your trick-or-treating days. If you currently trick-or-treat, you should probably not be listening to the show, but you know what? Here you are. So, as a kid, I feel we've all been told at one point or another to watch out for razor blades or needles or poison in our Halloween candy. Mm-hmm. From adults or guardians in our lives. Even with all the spooky Halloween costumes, movies, and holiday traditions, there was just something about this that felt too eerie. Was targeting unsuspecting youngsters with tainted candy truly happening to children everywhere? Or was it like the Candyman and nothing more than just an urban legend? Well, rumors of tainted Halloween candy are merely that, rumors. Many, if not most, Halloween candy tampered reports are just part of local rumor mills or threats that are greatly exaggerated. This tampered candy rumor also has close ties with a type of fear at the time. So, for example, the tainted candy paranoia spiked in the early 1980s when a rash of Tylenol poisoning in which, what is that, cyanide? Yeah, laced? Cyanide. And wow, I should have really written that. And
acetaminophen. Tylenol.
Oh, wow. There, Ryan's got it. Was placed on store shelves and sold. So this high-profile crime led to the introduction of child-proof containers and tougher federal laws that punished anyone who tampered with drugs. So after the Tylenol murders, which are still unsolved, warnings about altered Halloween candy increased. So
Before the Tylenol poisoning thing, like medicine didn't have those little like tamper-proof seals on them either.
wild.
So yeah, so shout out to everyone who survived the '80s, because goddamn, y'all were just out there raw dogging life.
No protection, just
Yeah.
out in the wind. No fear.
The
Oh my
'90s kid,
goodness.
baby. I'm proud of that.
That's why boomers think we're so soft, is
Yeah.
because we needed
Back in my
protection
day,
on our
we just
medicine.
ate the cyanide and dealt with the consequences. All right, Grandpa.
Oh man, it's so terrible, but it's so true. So while the fear about candy tampering has been greatly exaggerated, there was one instance of a major Halloween crime that took place in 1974, which caused the fear to surface yet again. So, uh, little trigger warning. I know we do one at the top, but another little trigger one, because this is more true crimey and it involves kids. So
Yeah.
if you want to skip like let me count like a minute, you'll be good. So a Texas man by the name of Ronald O'Brien was convicted of killing his 8-year-old son Timothy on Halloween night of 1974 with a potassium cyanide laced pixie stick that was snuck into his candy basket during a trick-or-treat outing.
Damn.
So at first, O'Brien said that his son must have been poisoned by the candy he got from trick-or-treating, which created panic amongst the community. But upon closer look, investigators learned that O'Brien had recently taken life insurance policies out on his children. Once Timothy passed away, O'Brien claimed the insurance money to ease his own financial troubles since he was $100,000 in debt. So, investigators had also learned that O'Brien was distributing the poisoned candy to his daughter and 3 other children in an attempt to cover up his crime. However, neither his daughter nor the children ate the poisoned candy. So that's
Jeez.
yeah, people are crazy. Like, I don't, people that have the time to like investigate these crimes and work through them, like, kudos, because my heart just absolutely breaks. I feel bad when I have to give my bunny like different niblets, like, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, she's not getting the papaya ones this week.
Oh no.
But anyway, so he was sent to trial and thankfully convicted of capital murder in June of 1975 and was sentenced to death. And he got the nickname Candyman from that horrible crime. So whether it's because of O'Brien's horrific crimes or it's just the constant fear that maybe someone tampered with their children's Halloween candy, the urban legends of razors and trick-or-treat goodies are still told to kids to this very day, and seems like it will always be a lingering urban legend to scare parents and guardians during Hallows Eve.
I'm pretty
So
confident parents just say that because they want to go through your candy and take the good stuff.
that's what I think, because I never was able to get my pixie sticks, and it hurt because I wanted those so bad. That was just sugar wrapped up,
When I bring my
ready to
nephew
go.
trick or treating, I'm gonna take all of the Reese's, and I'm gonna say, sorry, bud, they were open. I don't know what to tell you.
You go, you want to learn about the tax system?
Yeah. Oh, the Uncle Tax already exists. Whenever he gets food, you bet your ass I'm getting a bite.
You're like, the Uncle Tax is in full swing.
How come kids' restaurant mac and cheese is so much better than anything on the adult menu? I'm getting a bite.
They put something in it.
Yeah.
Some of those pixie sticks or something, they figured out the formula. And it's only the kids' mac and cheese. The moment you order your steak with a side of mac and cheese, you're like,
oh, let's put Gouda cheese. No, I just want Kraft dinner.
yeah. No, I want it straight from the box. If the only time I want to change is if it's the SpongeBob pieces of Kraft mac and cheese. You know what I'm talking about? Top tier were those little character mac and cheeses. They were always coated just right.
SpongeBob's the best because it has all those little holes in it for cheese.
Yeah.
Inside.
Slightly al dente.
Yeah. What
Oh,
What are we talking about?
oh yeah, we're talking about scary stuff, not the delicacy of a good mac and cheese.
Yeah.
So
That could be a whole episode.
we could talk about mac and cheese for like 3 hours easy. I have so many recipes. I have some vegan ones that are solid too, because I've learned the art of mac and cheese. All right. Anyway, back to what we're all here for. So, mirror summoning and urban legends is the next one. So, in hearing,
Bloody Mary.
if I die on this episode, it's Ryan's fault because he has summoned bloody. You don't even have a mirror. What if you talking through the webcam summons it behind me? I would be
crazy.
So bad.
Good thing we're live.
If that happened, I would look at her and I would turn to you like a sitcom, you know?
Now check the news. Did an earthquake strike anywhere at 8:09 Pacific time, October 16th? Somebody look it up right now and tell me if I caused another earthquake. Thank you.
We're testing theories here. So, in hearing the legend of the Candyman, one may notice some parallels between the Ghoulish Bean and the famous Bloody Mary. That's because the makeup of both of these legends have strong connections, which make for wonderful, extra spooky urban stories. So, the first is the general theme of both of these legends. Though there are wow, that was a fun way I said that. Though there are a few variations of this legend, most common Bloody Mary legends involve gender-based violence surrounding spouse violence leading to murder or death of a child. Now, I don't want to get too much into it because we did a whole episode about her. You can go listen to that episode. It's 32, Bloody Mary Rocks Our World, and you can understand why Ryan keeps saying there's got to be an earthquake that's happening right now.
I apologize to Californians in the early 2000s.
They're holding on by like the thinnest Earth's crust right now, Ryan. You can't keep breaking it for them. So similar to Bloody Mary, the general theme of the Candyman legend is about violence which leads to murder. For example, the latest film adaptations of it depict social issues such as class angst, gentrification, and racially motivated violence, specifically with police violence against Black people. So both of these legends result in the tragic death of the main protagonist that results in their spirits coming back for vengeance. But they don't just appear wherever they feel like it. They have to be summoned by chanting their name in front of a mirror. And though many sometimes are confused... Sorry, Chris. That was my bad. And though there may sometimes be confused due to how they are both coming for you, I wrote that weird. I wrote that so weird, you guys. Tired Kimmy writing. They can both be summoned to you, is what I was trying to say. And they're both going to be violent about it, and it's going to be a scary experience. That's what
Bloody Mary will be hot while she does it. Theoretically,
I don't know.
Depends on which Bloody Mary shows up.
That's fair. Well, I don't know. The Candyman's kind of got it going, but
something about the bees crawling out of the mouth. I don't think I could get past that part.
The bees are what make me rate him lower, to be honest. Like, he was there, and then the bee thing, I didn't.
Now, if we're looking at this picture without the bees,
solid.
What you talk?
It's not so much the bees around him; it's the mouth bees. Bees, yeah. I don't want to get stung there. You know what I mean? Yeah, if that's the journey we're going on,
I'd rather not.
No, thank you. So now that all being said, like Bloody Mary, you too can supposedly summon the Candyman. And because of how this legend is set up, I do not have a science or church this week, but I can tell you how to spice up your next sleepover.
Candyman together. Pull out the mirror, Kimmy.
So I won't do it. We ill advise against it, but here is how you can do it. I feel like the that one meme. It's like, we encourage you not to do it. It's like,
it.
live your life.
Live your life.
Live.
Live.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. Very easy. It's not like Bloody Mary. You don't need all the bells and whistles. Simply go in front of your mirror, have it be dark. You can even throw a little candle in there if you want to set the mood, and say his name 5 times, and then poof, you're dead. Like, that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, if you have done this and then you see him in the mirror and you realize you have made a mistake, or he's not quite as dreamy as you thought, you can back out of it. You know, all you have to do is lock eyes with your own reflection and walk backwards out of the room, and then you're good. The moment you look at him, that's when he comes for you, and he'll slice you up like ribbons. So just keep eye contact with yourself, head out, close the door, and go back to living your best creepy life, you know? And that's it. That's all I got this week.
All right. Well, we also have a very short modern take with Ryan, because we kind of already talked about it.
Yes.
There is a 2022 Candyman movie that came out, as Kimmy mentioned, produced by one of my favorite Hollywood people, Jordan Peele. Even though we've heard bad things about it, the story is essentially exactly the same as the one I read, but it follows Cabrini Green instead. And we're going to watch it, and then we're going to report back on Creepy Camper, which will be coming out around the same time as this episode, so make sure you check that out. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Go check out Creepy Camper. This has been Modern Takes with Ryan.
I don't know. I feel like we're very, very big Jordan Peele fans.
Oh, yeah.
I watched what was that Alien one?
There's Get Out.
Nope.
There's Us. There's Nope. Yeah.
Nope was the last thing I watched. Yeah. And I was like,
and I said,
this is, yeah, when he's in the car and he's like, nope. I was like, you know, just having a relatable person is so refreshing. Yeah. So anyway, that was good. We gotta do announcements, right? Announcements, and then we do our little Aloreing lemon chart. Yep.
The lore report.
All right. Ryan, do you know what I love more than gifts?
No, I actually.
Well, you're right, because nothing. I love nothing more than gifts.
Checks out.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because my love language is gift giving, and
checks out.
It's so easy, y'all. It's so easy to win me over. And that being said, did y'all know we have a P.O. box? And did you know all it does right now is collect dust? But you can change that, and you can win me over all in one step. So if you have an old fairy tale book collecting dust, some stickers you'd like to share, or even an Aloreing fan art piece you've created, send it to us. We would absolutely love it. And I like to send thank you letters. I have cute thank you letter only postcards that are also collecting dust that I would love to send. So let me send you stuff as well. Our P.O. box is Aloreing Podcast, 1935 South, 1100 East, P.O. Box 522001, Salt Lake City, Utah 84152. And if you're driving,
hope you're writing that down.
No way I wrote that down. You can head to our website.
Write it down.
Stop your car immediately.
Yeah.
Pull over. But you know what? If you're like, you know what, I'll do it in 2 seconds. You pull up our website, aloreing.com, and you go to our contact page, and you can pull it right from there. Mail us stuff.
And
do it.
Yeah, do it. And have you seen our shop lately? Because Kimmy has dropped a ton of new designs. We got some spooky, some festive, some classic. We got a little bit of everything. There's something for everyone in your life, and you can make it your one-stop shop this holiday season, because shopping on Amazon and Walmart for Christmas gifts is lame as hell.
Don't do it.
Get something for your folks, your partner, your friends. Honestly, we got it all. Sweaters, mugs, stickers, blankets, signed prints by Kimmy. Come on. So go check it out today at aloreingshop.com. That is aloreingshop.com.
Whoa. All right.
Let's see this disgusting placement that Kimmy did. I'm so scared. Oh my. Kimmy, they have bees in their mouth.
They're not wasps.
For our audio listeners, Kimmy put the Candyman, who we've decided murders people just for saying their name 5 times, as lawful good. For some reason.
He only murders you if you summon him. So you're disturbing him, and you know he's going to murder you. So
you might not know. What if you're just in the bathroom and you read the mirror because someone wrote it, and then you just die?
Well, we all have to learn life lessons one way or another.
Also, the lady in my story was trying to solve a crime and got pulled into hell by the Candyman.
First of all, she was being nosy, and he let her go at first.
Yeah. And then a child was murdered.
Yeah, but the child was murdered because he didn't believe in the Candyman, which sounds very terrible that I'm saying it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm gonna let you simmer in this one a little bit.
No, he has his rules.
Right.
He sticks to.
If you think he's lawful good, say it 5 times.
But I have a boo, and I'm a monogamous.
Say it 5
so...
times. Just see what happens.
No.
Maybe he'll show up. No?
But I don't want that. Like,
sounds like maybe he's not lawful good. I put him as neutral evil. I put him a little more towards lawful because you have to summon him. He doesn't just show up.
Well, that's why.
Definitely evil, not good.
Well, technically, he's more neutral good. I just see who he used to be.
Okay, yeah.
Not all the way on good.
All right, well, let's get out of here before Kimmy starts promoting more murders.
Ryan doesn't understand.
I don't.
He does. You don't need to. You know, if I think the Candyman is attractive, then that's me, and I'm okay with that.
All right, Kimmy, what's your takeaway from today?
Do you really want to hear mine first?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh man, consensually summon your dates.
Okay, I don't know. Makes sense. I was gonna say just carry around some bits of honey so that if the Candyman shows up, maybe you can just like cover his hook with bits of honey because they're real sticky, and he won't even know, and then he can't slice you up because his razor blade's covered.
Stick it to the Candyman with some homemade honey. Is that like
bits of honey, the best candy known to man, unless you have any sort of dental problem, then you can never eat it again. It's fine.
Man, okay. Campers, this has been so fun. We hope you have the most wonderful Hallows Eve. Celebrate it in the most safe, fun way you can. Do not take away from the population. Do not add to the population. Yes. Good pro tips.
Yep.
And don't get caught. Thanks so much for listening, all. This has been Aloreing.
You have the most alluring Halloween, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.